everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of 52-Week Movie Challenge. Holy crap. I have too many shows, so sometimes I forget what show I'm doing. That's awesome. Or not. But anyway, here we go. The 52-Week Movie Challenge. We're really excited to be able to talk about this. And movie that I'm going to talk about is obviously, if you can see behind me, if you know this movie, I'm sure you probably might. You might not. It's not like a huge, movie or not. But so I had to do for week 43. I had to do set in a college, and I picked Dead Man on Campus, which was a 1998 film. I forgot to write down a couple things in here. Should have done that. Oh well. I did not write down the aspect ratio or the runtime. I think the runtime was 1 hour and 36 minutes, I want to say. The year release was 1998. The date challenge completed was 10/25/22. I give this rating 4.5 stars. Stars Tom Everett Scott, Mark Paul Gosselaar, Lachlan Monroe, Poppy Montgomery, Jason Segel, Linda Cardellini. I mean, so many of my favorites in one fucking movie, which I thought was great. Directed by Alan Cohn, produced by Gale Anne Hurd. Terminator's Gale Anne Hurd produced this film. She also did The Walking Dead, but this is not what I would imagine Gale Anne Hurd producing. But all right. Written by Mike White and Michael Traeger. Music by Mark Mothersbaugh. Awards received, I did not see any. I'm sure there are, but I'm sure it might have received it. I'm glad I didn't receive a Razzie, because it's one of the films that I don't believe deserves that. Why did you pick this particular film? Because I wanted to see it again, to be honest. Have I seen this movie before? Yes, lots of times. Would you recommend this film? Why or why not? Yes, 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 because I love it. Which character are you most able to identify with, connect with in what way? I'm probably most like Josh, but not as studious. I'm probably more of the person who doesn't really like to break the rules. And if I do break the rules, I always feel bad afterwards. So I guess that's the one I connected with the most. I mean, none of the other characters are really, I'm not Pickle. I'm not, I'm definitely not Cooper. Though I've always wanted to be like Mark Paul Gosselaar. I've always wanted to be that carefree, kind of loving kind of character. Definitely not Cliff, and we'll get into that. Best line and memorable quote: "My name is Cliff, brother of Joe. I got me some crack. I want me some hoes." Let me hear you say, yeah. If you attended college, did this resemble your college life? If so, how? I did not, but most likely wouldn't, even if I did. I mean, I know there's a lot of partying and there's a lot of that stuff, but I never would try to kill my roommate or anything like that. That was never a thing. I we'll get into the story of the movie and stuff. Would you attend the college? Why or why not? And I said, sure. Dillman University seemed like a pretty nice campus. Anything else you'd like to add? Nope. I saw it through Amazon. You have to rent it or buy it, and I bought it years ago. I forgot how much it cost, but I bought it years ago. It wasn't expensive, and so it was worth it, because I watched this movie I watched it at least once a year. I think I watched it last year. I'm pretty sure I watched it either last year or the year before, when I did for Hollywood Knockbusters. I think it was 2020 that I did for Hollywood Blockbusters, Knockbusters. But I watch it every year, just about now, because it's one of those films that I just absolutely adore. It's very, very fun. So we're gonna get into it. So I remember seeing this when it first came out on DVD, VHS, whatever it was. I think it was VHS back in the day. And I watched it and I was like, this is, well, at first I probably rented it thinking it was like Scream, like it was Dead Man on Campus, like it was a zombie at a college, kind of thing. Like I think that's what I thought in my head. But then I found out it was about the urban legend that if your roommate commits suicide or dies or whatever, you get straight A's because of consolation prize, as they say, where it relieves tension. It's something that makes you um they don't want you grieving and they don't want you committing suicide over this. And there was another movie also um called The Curve, and I did that for horror film lovers first time watch Friday, but it's very similar to this except more like thriller horror like version, and where the and uh I also maybe that's also what I wanted to hear. Because like when I started thinking when I read that it was about like the people trying to commit suicide or whatever. I mean that right there is a very where you try to kill the roommate so that you can get straight A's and make it look like a suicide. I mean, it's kind of fucked up, but a premise, So what they end up doing is they end up partying too hard, even though Josh is on a scholarship and he's trying his hardest to um do he's just trying his hardest to make it in school. And so he's kind of dealing with everything, and he ends up partying too hard with Cooper. Cooper's his roommate, and they have a third roommate because they have basically another room that's connected to their room, and that other guy called it. However, he's been spending all his days with his new girlfriend, played by Linda Cardellini, and the roommate is Jason Segel. So those, he's gone out of the way. They have an empty room basically. So they decide because if their roommate commits suicide, they get straight A. So they pick the people that are already going to commit suicide, and there's stuff about pushing them over the edge or whatever to make them do this. It's kind of fucked up, but they don't, they don't really try to do that. But they find who are like pretty much the craziest characters. One of them is Cliff, who's just the guy behind me, Lachlan Monroe, who I've met, and I got him to sign a Dead Man on Campus picture and have him write my name is Cliff, because that is honestly one of my favorite lines in the movie. There's a lot of great lines. But he is just this very they act like he's suicidal. He's psychotic. He's a crazy person. He sets Lucy, who's played by Allison Hannigan's, hair on fire. So sweet little Allison Hannigan. I think it was 98. So unless it was made beforehand, she was just Willow. And maybe at that time, that's how she got the gig too. I don't know. But she was Willow. So little Willow, and she was so sweet, and she got her hair set on fire when he was trying to light a bong. And so, then we meet another psychotic guy who's like crazy guy. He's like conspiracy theorist. So each one has their own like different kind of level of crazy, or depression or whatever. So like there's the guy who's and they don't have much time. They have to make sure this happens before the end of the year, so they don't, so they get the straight A's and whatever. Things happen. I'm not going to go into too much spoiler stuff, but there's all these different characters that keep trying to move in. And it is just one hilarious issue after another. And I just always remember watching this movie going, this movie is really fucking funny. I know every line from the movie, from the beginning to the end. I literally, and on Amazon, it actually has the captions, which I never used to put on the DVD. So I can actually read what some of the people have said. So sometimes there's this one professor that has a very thick Indian accent, and he would say like, if you bring chocolates in from, we'll talk or whatever. And I kept thinking he said joblets, and for some reason, because of the way he said it. And so I was like, what the hell are joblets? I never looked it up, but that it wasn't real. It wasn't it was chocolates. Because then it popped up on the thing saying, if you bring chocolates, we can talk. And I was like, all right. So, and then there's a guy that kind of reminds me of Mr. Hand from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and he's SF Collins, the teacher, you know, and so they do a little bit of showing the school off and stuff in the campus and stuff happening at the school. It really is a college comedy, and I absolutely adore it. Absolutely, it's one of my favorite films, as I said. I mean, uh, I don't like as I said in the thing. I don't think I would have. Um, I don't think it would have been my life. Obviously, I don't know if I would have been anybody that was in that situation. I'm not very studious, and the big thing also was like Poppy Montgomery's character Rachel falls in love with Josh, and Josh falls in love with Rachel, but like Josh is really busy trying to figure out how to get a roommate to kill himself. So there's just a lot going on in this movie, and I absolutely, I can't, I don't want, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to say whatever, but I do want to say this, that if you really enjoyed college comedies like Animal House or any of those kind of comedy things with college set in the college, this movie is for you. This movie is definitely a college comedy. It'll probably bring you back to your college days, um, and you'll probably enjoy it. So, but if you haven't seen it, just go watch it. It's a lot of fun. I laughed. I still laugh even though I know every line in the movie. And it's one of those movies that if I were sick and not feeling really good, I would probably put this on because it would make me feel better because it brings me to a time, I guess 1998, 99-ish was the time in my life where I needed movies like these to kind of, because I was about to graduate from high school. I needed movies to just, to comfort me. And this movie always gives me comfort. So I was very happy to meet Lachlan when I did. He was just one of the nicest guys. Um, I invited him to premiere my movie, and he said he would go. And then when he didn't show up, I wasn't surprised. But the next day, he asked me about it, and he remembered me by name. I mean, to me, that shows the sign of a person who really cares about his fans and stuff like that. And Lachlan Monroe, that guy right there, Cliff O'Malley. Oh, just one of the best characters. He said to me, because I asked him about it, and I said, "How did you get that character? Like, how did you come up with that character kind of in your way?" And he said, "I drank a lot of soda. No, coffee. He said coffee because back then there was no energy drinks like they're like maybe there were, but they weren't like as prevalent as they are now. So nowadays it would be Red Bull, he said, but back then it was coffee. You just drink a lot of coffee, chug coffee, and then he got himself like all hyped up and everything. There's one great scene where he is just like, I want to hump this lamp. I want to screw this couch, and he jumps on the couch and just starts humping it, and it's just like it's really funny. This movie is just I can't say enough about this movie. If you haven't seen it, once again, watch it. Go see it. Find it. You can find it on eBay. I don't know if it's out of print or anything, but it is one of the funniest things. I wish that there would be like a special edition with commentary and things because it's kind of bare bones, the DVD, if I remember. But honestly, all I care about really is watching the movie again and again and again. That's why having it on Amazon is nice until one day they take it off, which I hope is not for, 20, 30 years or whatever, keep it on there for forever, as much as possible. But I love and adore this movie, and I can't wait for others who haven't seen it to go check it out. So here you go. All right. So moving on. Last in here. So week 44 coming up is a film that has won Best Music Original Score. So I have a few in mind that I might pick. But this is yeah, this is there you go. Um I can't wait. I'm enjoying this. This has been probably one of the best things. Now I'm not doing this again next year. No, 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 no. Not for another couple years, I think. If I do it again, it won't be till 2026, I think, because I'm moving on to doing the 31 days of indie horror on the same days that I would normally do this. So like I do this on Tuesdays, but I would pick like Monday, one day, and stuff every week and do that and stuff. So I'm having it more organized for that because I can't keep doing this every day, every week and whatnot, and by myself. I can't. I've got to kind of move on for a little bit and stuff. And it's great for the 1 year and getting it done. Like I thank God, I don't know, wood, um, knock on wood, I don't mess this up. Like this is the way it goes. So anywho, thank you guys for checking this out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know. Do you guys like Dead Men on Campus? Do you not like Dead Men on Campus? Was it a kind of stupid comedy? You didn't dig it? Was it one of your favorite movies of all time? I will know people who've seen it once I quote something and they quote it back to me. That is one of my favorite things. So thank you guys for checking this out. I hope you guys enjoyed it and let me know what you guys think. Bye.